Good evening, everyone. So, welcome to Career Launcher MBA program. Today, we'll be looking at Algebra Previous Year Question discussion. And today, in this, we'll be looking at modulus. Okay. So, let's begin with our first question of the day. So, the area of the closed region bounded by the equation mod of x plus mod of y is equal to 2 in the two-dimensional plane is. So, in order to solve this question or questions like these, what we need to do is we can take, let's say, x is equal to 0. Okay, if we take x is equal to 0, we will be getting mod y is equal to 2, which will result in y is equal to plus minus 2. Okay, that means we will have 2 points, one point being 0, 2 and another point being 0, minus 2. Next, if we take y is equal to 0, we will have mod x is equal to 2. That will give us x is equal to plus minus 2. So we will have 2 points, one point being 2, 0, another point being minus 2, 0. So let's plot this on the graph. So we have got x-axis, we have got this y-axis, and we have got these points. So one point being 0, 2, and then we have the mirror water image of that, which is 0, minus 2. Similarly, we will have 1 point which is 2, 0, and then we will have mirror image of that which is minus 2, 0. And after this, we will have to join these four. Now, the shape that we will be getting from here is going to be a rhombus. Why rhombus? Because rhombus is a figure whose diagonals are perpendicular to each other, right? So we have this particular shape where the diagonals are perpendicular to each other. And along with that, we also have got all the pairs of adjacent sides are also equal. So this is going to be a rhombus. Now, within this rhombus specifically, is this a rhombus or is this a special type of rhombus which is called a square? Well, the difference between a rhombus and a square is the diagonals of a rhombus may be of unequal length, while the diagonals of a square are always of equal length. So here you can see that the length of one of the diagonals of this rhombus is from 2 to minus 2, which is 4 units. And the other diagonal is from minus 2 to 2, which is also 4 units. Since the diagonals are of equal length, this is actually going to be a square whose diagonals are perpendicular and of equal length. Now, how do we calculate the area of such a quadrilateral? Whenever the diagonals of a quadrilateral are perpendicular to each other, irrespective of whichever quadrilateral it is, the area is given as half into product of diagonals. So one of the diagonals length is 4, another is also 4. So this will result in 8. So it's going to be 8 square units. Option C. Okay. There is another way to solve such questions. Okay. So I'll give you a shortcut for this. If you ever come across a similar question where it is of the form mod of AX, hold on. We can also have something mod of AX minus P plus mod of BX minus Q is equal to C. Sorry, not X, this is Y. So if you have any equation of this type where you have got X in modulus and Y in modulus with some coefficient or constant within them, then the area is directly given as 2c square upon AB, as in it is independent of P and Q that is inside the mod. So if we remember this formula, we can straight away see here that A is 1, B is 1, C is 2. So area is 2c square upon A into B, which will result in 8 anyways. So we will save a lot of time finding out where the graph meets on the x-axis, y-axis, draw it, right? Okay. So next question, which is very similar to this, okay? Question related to modulus, but here we do not have to find the area, but rather we have to find the distance of a point from this particular graph. The way we have solved before, exactly what we are going to do here. So suppose the first mod is 0. So if I take x is equal to 1, so the first mod becomes 0. So y will become 0 plus 2, which will result in 2. Now, if I try to make the second modulus as 0 by putting x is equal to -1, I will have y is equal to, again, mod of -2, which is 2 plus 0. So this is again going to be 2. So let's draw the graph. So this is the x-axis. And we have at -1, y is 2, right? So this is 2 units. And at 1 also, this is 2 units. As in the y height is 2 units. Now what we can do is we can join these points using straight line, and beyond 1 and beyond -1. So if I take a value of x which is more than 1, and if I put it here, so I will get the value of y which is going to be more than 2. Suppose if I take x is equal to 2 here, so I will be getting 1 plus 3, 4. Y will become 4. So at 2, the height is 4. That means the graph goes upwards. Similarly, if I take a value of x which is less than -1, let's say -2, and if I put at both these places in the mod, I'll be getting the value of y which is again going to be more than 2, which means it is again increasing. So this is more like a basing, or it's like a bucket shift figure, right? Now, after this, the question asked is there is a point which is half comma 1. So this is going to be 0, of course. So half is going to be over here. And this is 2. So this is where 1 is going to be. The question asked is what is the distance between this point and this graph? Obviously, the shortest distance. So this height is 1. This height is 2, right? This is 1. This is 2. So this distance will be remaining 1. So 1 becomes 1. Now, in such kind of questions, there is no direct formula using which we can solve it. So we will have to draw the graph, okay, individually putting each mod as 0. That will give us the shape. In this example, we will have to find out where that point lies, right? So we don't have to use any distance formula over here, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Next one. So I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to attempt this, then we will discuss. So try. Anyone? So we have already seen mod x plus mod y is equal to 2, the graph of that, right? So it is a rhombus and especially a square, right? Which passes from 0, 2 on the y-axis and 0, -2. And on the x-axis, it's 2, 0, and then it's -2, 0, right? Since it is talking about less than equal to 2, as in we are talking about all the region that lies inside it. Now, we are done with this part. Now, if you're talking about mod of x greater than equal to 1, so mod of x is equal to 1 will give us x is equal to -1 and x is equal to 1. So these are pair of vertical lines. One which will pass through x is equal to 1 and another which will pass through x is equal to -1. Right? So this point is -1, 0. This point is 1, 0. So this line is x is equal to 1. This is x is equal to minus 1. Please remember, x is equal to 1 is not a point. It's a line. Similarly, y is equal to k is a line. It's not a point. Okay. So since it says mod of x greater than equal to 1, so obviously we are dealing with the region which is between the lines and the square. So we're talking about this region. So there are two ways now further we can go ahead and solve it. First, we will figure out where these two vertical lines they meet the square or the rhombus, then calculate the area of that region. Or what we can simply do is use a bit of common sense. So if I give you a square, and in this square, if I take the midpoints, and if I join them, then if I join them further like this, so can we say this area or this triangle will be equal to 1/8 of the total area, right? Because we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have got 4 triangles at the center and 4 triangles at the corners. So we have 8 triangles, that is 1/8, right? Similarly, if I take this one, this is going to be 1/8. So if I include both of them, can I say this is going to be 1/4 of the area of square? Right? Please understand that these are the midpoints, not random points. Beecho beach se gaya. If you look at this particular shape and if you tilt it, this is exactly what is being drawn here. We have got a square where we have taken the midpoints. How do we know we have taken the midpoints? Obviously, from origin to 2, the midpoint is 1. So it passes through the midpoint of the vertex and the meeting point of the diagonals. Beecho beach, right? So we can say that this area will be the 1/4 of the area of the square. Now we already know how to calculate the area of such a square. So area is given as 2c square upon AB, right? And then we are talking about 1/4 of that. So this is going to give us 2. So the answer will be 2. 2 square units is the area of that shaded region, or the region between pair of parallel lines and the square. Right? So we will save some time if we understand the geometric construction, how symmetrical it is and how can we break it down into parts. Okay, next one. The area of the region satisfying the inequalities mod x minus y less than equal to 1, y greater than equal to 0, and y less than equal to 1. Right? So what we can do, we can take the first one as, rewrite this as y is greater than equal to mod x minus 1. I hope you understand how I have rearranged. I've taken y on one side and everything else on the other, then brought y on the left hand side, so that's easier. So first of all, I need to draw a graph of this. So this is x-axis, right? And this is y-axis. So let's first of all draw the graph of y is equal to mod x. So y is equal to mod x is going to be a graph which is going to be a V shape, where the bottom most point or the minimum of this V shape will be at the origin, right? Now we need -1. So if I subtract 1 from here, that means this graph will shift 1 unit downwards. It's not left and right, it's up and down. Since -1 means you will have to reduce its height by 1 unit throughout. So this graph will now shift 1 unit. So we can remove this part. That tells us that this point is now going to be 0, -1. And since these are equally inclined, this point is going to be 1, 0, and this point is going to be -1, 0. Okay, so we are done with this. Next, it says y greater than equal to 0. Now, y is equal to 0 is nothing but the x-axis, right? So when we are saying y greater than equal to 0, the next part that we need is this, right? And then we have y less than equal to 1. So that means y is equal to 1 is going to be this. So this is the equation y is equal to 1. This part is y is equal to 0. Now, since we're talking about the area, that is bounded within. Can we say we are talking about this particular region? Right? ठीक है. So this point is obviously going to be 0, comma 1, right? Because it passes through y is equal to 1. Now, if I put y is equal to 1 over here, right, we will have the value of x over here being 2, comma 0. And this one is going to be minus 2, comma 0. Sorry, 2, comma 1 and minus 2, comma 1. Height is 1. क्योंकि y is equal to 1 से पास कर रहा है. So 1, y is equal to 1. So x is going to be 2 or minus 2. Right? Okay. So this is nothing but a trapezium, right? So can we say from here that the area of the trapezium is given as half into sum of parallel sides? So what is the length of this side? Can we say this is from -1 to 1? So that's 2 units. Plus the other parallel side or the other side which is parallel to that one. So this is from -2 to 2. So this is going to be 4. Into perpendicular distance between them. So we are talking about this region. Since this is origin and this is 0, comma 1, so the distance between them is going to be 1 unit. So if we solve this, this is half of 6, which is going to give us 3. So 3 parts of answer. Right? Or we could have calculated the area of the entire triangle and subtracted the area of the triangle which lies here. Or we could have used similarity to calculate that area. So a lot of different ways, whichever strikes first, whichever you find is okayish, easy to solve, you can use it. So far we have seen 4 questions. Out of those 4 questions, 3 were used, related to modulus and area. One was about modulus and distance between a point. The next one, modulus and inequality. The number of integers n that satisfy the inequalities, mod of n minus 60 is less than mod of n minus 100 is less than mod of n minus 20 is. 2 ways to solve it. First, take the first pair of modulus with inequality, solve it. You'll get a range of n. Then you take the next consecutive pair, solve it, you will get another range of n. Include both of them because they have to be simultaneously true. And then you will get the number of integral values of n because you need integral values of n. That's one way, which is a standard way. School mein wahi seekhta. Another way to look at this is pure logical, and it's going to be faster. So if you are given mod of n is equal to 2, first of all, okay, I'm not talking about this question, I'm talking about the concept. So what it means is you need to find a number whose magnitude is 2. So the value of n can be -2 or it could be 2. If you are given mod of n less than 2, so it's talking about the magnitude of n being less than 2. So it could be anything between -2 and 2. Okay, between. Because if I put -2, mod of -2 is not less than 2, right? It is equal to 2. So it is between -2 and 2. If you move a little step more ahead, if I say mod of n minus 1 is equal to 2, so we are saying that this is going to be -2 or this is going to be 2. If n minus 1 is -2, that will happen when n is -1. If n minus 1 is 2, that will happen when n is 3. So these are the 2 values of n you will get. First approach, right? Second approach will be if I remove the mod and put a brackets, I'll have to put plus minus before it. So I will be getting 2 equations. N minus 1 is equal to 2. That will result in n is equal to 3. Second equation will be minus of n minus 1 is equal to 2. If I solve this, I will get n is equal to -1. Third approach. If you are given mod of n minus 1 is equal to 2, what you have to do is visualize that you are on the number line. This 2, this is called distance or magnitude, right? This 1 tells you where you are standing. So we are standing at 1. You need a distance of 2 from 1. So you are at that point 1 and you need to move, you need 2 distances. So you can either go to the right side or you can go to the left side. What are the 2 values that you will be getting? So if you're at 1 and if you go 2 units to the right, you will end up at 3. And if you're at 1, if you go 2 units to the left, you will end up at -1. So these are the 2 values of n. So visual understanding, right? So I'm going to use the third concept or the third approach to understand this inequality. Okay. So I will be erasing this. Let's look at this. 60 and 100, these are 2 points. And it says that you have to think of a point, from where 60 is closer than 100 is. N minus 60 means from n to 60, that distance is less than the distance between n and 100. In other words, I have to think of a place where n is closer to 60 than 100. So can we say if anybody standing over here, this person is going to be closer to 60 than 100? So anything to the left of 60 will make sense. Okay. Now, what if somebody is standing at, let's say, this point, which is 80, so between 60 and 80. So between 60 and 80, can we say this person is going to be closer to 60 rather than 100? Okay. Can we take a scenario where a person is closer to 100, that is between 80 and 100. So this person is farther away from 60 than 100. Similarly, if a person goes to the right of 100, this person is closer to 100 than 60. If a person is at 80, he is equidistant from both 60 and 80. If we are able to understand this, then we can very much say from the first inequality that n should be, so मैंने इसको थोड़ा सा left लिख लेता हूँ because we have the second inequality also here. So I'm saying n minus 60 is less than n minus 100. So this is 60 and this is 100. So any person can be from any point which is going to be less than 80. So from here we can say n kuch bhi le lo, but 80 se kam hona chahiye. Because at 80 it's equidistant. Beyond 80, the person is closer to 100 than 60. Less than 80, person is closer to 60 than 100. So we need closer. Less than means less distance. Let's pick up the next one now. Mod of n minus 100 is less than mod of n minus 20. So there are again 2 points here. 1 point being 20 and 1 point being 100. Now we need a point, or we need a person who should be closer to 100 than 20. So the point between 20 and 100, the midpoint कौन सा होगा? 20 or 100 का average, right? Which will result in 60. Forget about the first case. We are only paying attention here. So we need to make a person stand either to the left of 20, between 20 and 60, between 60 and 100, at 60, beyond 100 on the right hand side, kahin pe bhi, such that it is closer to 100. So obviously the person should be towards 100, on 100, between 60 and 100. But if a person is at 60, this person is equidistant from both the ends, from 20 and 100. So that person cannot be at 60. If a person is to the left of 60, that person is closer to 20, but we need that person closer to 100. So from here, visually, can we say that all the points that n can take such that it is closer to 100 than 60 is going to be n greater than 60? मतलब इधर से इधर कुछ भी. Now you can see that they both have to be necessarily true, right? Because it's continuous inequality. It's not that only the first pair is true, even the second pair is true. So how many values of n do we have more than 60 but less than 80? So n can take 61, 62, and so on up to 79. So how many values are this? 61 to 79 means 79 minus 60, which is 19 values. So, right? So visual approach, solving an inequality on modulus. We could have solved it, basically solving the inequality. Modulus ka jaisa hota hai, no visual approach. We will end up with the same pair of conditions, but a different approach. So if you have any doubts, please feel free to ask. I'll wait for a minute or two. So, Megadri, you missed by 1 point. 61 to 79, those are 19 values. Any doubt? Okay. No? Chal. Fine. So thank you, everyone. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, same time, we will be doing LRDI. Okay. We will be seeing, how to attempt LRDI sets. We will be discussing 2022 ka paper or 2021 ka paper. We will see. And also this series of algebra, I will be taking, for example, today I took modulus, then I'll be taking logarithm, I'll be taking greatest integer function, sequences in series. So feel free to keep your doubts ready and make sure that you attend the sessions. It will give you a revision, quick revision if you have already completed the topics. And in case you haven't started yet, you'll have an idea how to attempt questions. Okay. So until next session, take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.